Hello, everyone. We took a day to see the Canadian War Museum, which is located in Canada's capital city of Ottawa. The museum begins with an impressive but brief section on the stone tools and weapons that were used by First Nations people for their hunting and warfare. The museum has a fairly large collection of military artifacts that are associated with Canada's long history. And as you can see here, the museum moves you through different time periods of Canada's history. At this station, the white settlers have arrived, and it's Canada's early colonial period. I found this interesting as the tomahawk was issued and used by the British Army. And this is a model of the HMS St. Lawrence, which served for the British during the War of 1812. And if you were in Canada in the early 1800s, these are the British colonial uniforms you would have seen. As you move through the museum, you go through a period where the warfare becomes more mechanized, starting here with the Boer War. When the slouch hat was raised up, it quickly received a bullet from a sniper. Moving into the First World War, this gun is an 18-pounder, and it's theorized that these guns fired an average of 43 rounds per minute during the war. With a firing rate like that, destruction was the only result. As seen here, they start you with a model and then walk you through a reconstruction of what the trenches were like during that time. For the walkthrough section, they kept it dark, so it was really hard to get good video, so please excuse the graininess. But as I walked through it, I was definitely given a strong sense of what it must have been like for soldiers during this period of time. Just to give you a sense, I adjusted the brightness of the video so it was exactly as it was when we walked through. This is trench art, and during periods of inactivity, the soldiers would make items out of brass casings and old bullets. A German 77mm gun that the Canadians captured on Vimy Ridge. However, as you can see, the German gunners destroyed it before retreating. Displayed here is a private's pocket Bible and mirror that saved his life. Because of the reality of war, many soldiers carried good luck charms. For me, this was one of the most disturbing things I had seen. This was Hitler's parade car captured by American troops in 1945.
Bring her up when you says the object is small, but get larger. Stand by for star show. Stand by for star shows. Radar ops incoming. It's a submarine. Full ahead. Full ahead. Let's get a better look.
As already previously alluded to, this section talks about the sea war against U-boats during World War II. And the famous Enigma machine, which the British were able to crack in 1941 and start tracking the U-boats. This is the closest I've ever been to one of these, and for the time, it's pretty sophisticated. These were Japanese balloon bombs, which Japan in 1944 launched an estimated 9,000 against North America in hopes of spreading panic. Some 300 balloons are believed to have reached the continent. This display shows the pieces of a Dakota C-47 military transport plane that crashed in 1945 and was recovered in 1996 after spending 50 years in the Burmese jungle. A handmade crossbow which was confiscated from a German at a prisoner of war camp in Ontario. Compared to our Canadian national symbol, I kinda like this beaver better. This is Mary Reid, who was Cree and joined the Canadian Women's Army Corps as the first Indigenous servicewoman in 1942. A lot of the war footage that you see was probably shot with a type of camera like this. Showing here is a 75mm German tank that was destroyed during fighting at the Gothic Line in Italy. This is a Sherman tank that landed in France in 1944. It was one of few tanks that made it to Germany without being put out of action. The museum then moves on to, I guess you could say, the post-war or Cold War era, which included this piece of the Berlin Wall, which was brought back to Canada. A narrow escape here, which shows a destroyed G-Wagon following the detonation of an IED. All passengers were saved by the protective armor. They have a fairly good collection of military vehicles in an open area where you can walk among them. This one is a Leopard tank with a mine roller attachment. And finally, Field Marshal Sir Harold Alexander's staff car in North Africa and Italy.